Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Peggy with Sweet Tea Makery, and on my channel we'll show you how to paint, decorate, and craft your way to a beautiful home for all seasons. If you like crafting and home decor as much as I do, then you'll want to hit that subscribe button and also the bell too. That bell lets you know when I go live or when I upload a new project. If you also have a friend that you think may be interested in this project, please do share my channel with them. Today's project will be crafting a fall banner, and it's for your mantle. And I'm going to go over some of the tools that you're going to need for this project. So one of the tools is going to be a ruler. You're going to need a pencil, some scissors, either an X-Acto knife or a box cutter, and a hole punch. You'll need some jute as well, and you're going to need an old book. So this is just one book that I happen to have on hand, but you can pick up any of these books from Goodwill for $1 or $2. I've seen them in thrift stores for even less, for like 75 cents. But this happens to be one I had on hand back in the day when you used to paint. This is an acrylic, a book that was just taken and painted with acrylic, and we did a cabotage on it. But you know, you can use whatever book you want. The approximate size that you want to look for is either a 5x8 or a 5x7 size book. And one of the other things that you're going to need are these letters. They are poster stickers, but they're letters they have on either side, and you can get these, pick these up at Dollar Tree. It's a real neat little font. I like to use it on several different projects. They have others fonts there that you can choose from, but this is the one that I like. It doesn't give the exact type of font, but here's a little closer look so you can see. So let's get started on this project. So I want to show you the one that I did for my mantle, and I have it here. So we're going to flip it around so you can see it. So this is one that I did for fall, and it says gather, and we'll get it just so you can see it. Push it out just a tad bit. So here it is. It has a blank one on the end, and I'll tell you why I have a blank one on the end. And then it goes on and ends with a blank one. So for now, we're going to create a new banner so you can see how I made it. But then afterwards, we'll embellish it a little bit. So now, if you want to embellish it, there's some other things that you can purchase for that, and that would be some Dollar Tree decor. You could use scrapbook paper. You can paint some of the items, some of the wood items, you know, any kind of things that you would like to embellish it with. And when I say embellishment, I'm talking about, here are some items that you can use. These came from Dollar Tree. They're wooden ornaments. They're maple leaves. I painted this one an orange, but you can paint it any color. Beautiful turquoise would be nice. You can paint it white if you choose, grays, anything that matches your home decor. You can also do scrapbook paper, where I painted it on the back of this one, but then I Mod Podged some scrapbook paper on it and did it sort of in a, did it in a black and white buffalo check pattern. You don't actually have to have the wood part. You can, if you so choose, you can take and use this as your pattern and just cut out the scrapbook paper and actually just use the scrapbook paper by itself. All you do is trace it on the back and then cut it out. And you can use scissors for that. An X-Acto knife is a little hard to manage with that, so I would trace it first and then just take your time and trim it. And then you would Mod Podge it to the back of the wood and on the top, and then you would also, once that is placed on there, then you can put a coat of Mod Podge on there too. And just to let you know that if you do that, and you still want to use that hole, I got a real fancy tool for you. It's called a toothpick, and you can just punch it right through and get that little hole again, so that you can hang it if you put some ribbon or twine through there. So that's my fancy tool. Anyway, so we're gonna get started on this project now that you know some of the things that you will need, and I'll show you how I created it. I'm gonna tilt you down here, and we're just gonna shift some of these things out of the way and use them as we need them. So first of all, let's just shift it. I'm gonna tilt you down. Okay. So the first item that you're gonna want is your book. So this is one I've already used, but I'm gonna show you an example, just a quick example of how I trim out my books. So what I do is I line it up as close to the spine as I can with my ruler. And by the way, this nice heavy little ruler came from Dollar Tree as well. So I'm using a box cutter. So this is just what I have on hand. I've used an X-Acto knife too. So we want to get as close to that spine as we can and line it up as even as possible. And we're just going to use this as our guide. And now we're going to put that away so we don't cut ourselves again. And so I'm just going to show you. And sometimes if it gets a little bit, you know, you can just tear them off. But you know, if you put a little pressure to it, you'll get the pages off. So I've already cut some here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how we cut this part here for the banner. So I've already cut a few just to have them on hand, and we'll use those in just a few minutes. So the first thing that you want to do is take your pencil, and we're going to come just about, let's see, we want to find the center of the page. So I'm thinking I want, usually, let's measure this. So usually I'll come up, of course it's not on the right end, there we go. Okay, so about, let's see, about 2 1/4 inches. So we're gonna come up about 2 1/4 inches. Let's push this down. 2 1/4 inches, right about there. And then we're gonna find the center of this page. So this is right at 5 inches, oh, close enough. So then the center would be 2 1/2. So we're going to go right about here. Whoops. Right about here. We're going to just make a circle, just a light little dot here. And then we're going to take that dot, and we're going to go to the corner right here of the page so that we can we can draw our line from about that dot. Let's get it right about there. And if you want to adjust it, you can just adjust it. So we're just going to draw a line, and we're going to flip this over, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to find the point here and the dot, and we're going to draw that line. So then the next thing we're going to do is cut this triangle out. And you're just going to, it's okay if you don't get all, I mean, if you have some pencil marks, because you can erase them, you're not going to mess it up, but I kind of go just outside that line when I'm cutting so that I can avoid the pencil marks. And if you still see the dot, I see it just a tad, you can just erase it. There we go. Okay, it's erased. So now you can see that we have the banner part. So if you want to trim it off, you can. I just don't. If you want to make it a little bit more trim, you would do that prior to cutting your triangle out. But it doesn't make a difference to me. So I'm going to leave it as is. So what I do as I come up, and this is about, I'd say it's about 1.5 inches wide, but I usually come up to where that point is right here. And I'm going to line it up so that it's even. Even. And for today, I've already done gather. So we're going to pick another fall word. I'm not going to do, you could do thankful. That's a long one. You could do any word you want. But I think for today, we'll just do a shorter one. And we'll do fall. So we're going to start with the F. And, you know, just peel it off. There we go. And like I say, we're going to start with the F. We're going to go back and make sure this is placed again, placed evenly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this center part right here, that point, and that's going to be our midpoint for our letters. So we're going to eyeball it. So what I do is I hold the letter kind of over it, and then I just shift it up. Now this part of the ruler is going to help me keep it nice and neat. So we're going to center it and also kind of place the letter. Let's move it right there. And we'll just gently tap it. And if it looks even, which it looks even to me, then you can go ahead and press it a little bit harder onto the page. And now, if you do mess up, then you can, like for today, for the first day, you could peel it up. You could. But once it sits there for a few days, the adhesive will kind of bind to the paper, and so if you try to lift it up, then it will tear the paper. Most times that usually happens. So we're going to go ahead and do the other letters, the fall. I've already cut some of our banners from the book sheets. And again, we're going to line that back up. And what you can do, as a secondary way, just to make sure, you can place your first one side by side. Just in case you're a little off, then we'll know the letters will be the same. So we'll shift it and we'll just line it up there. And we're going to pick our next letter. And be sure that sometimes you have to weed out some of the, sometimes it'll come up with it, the little part there. You want to weed that out. And again, we're going to center our letter and use this as our place, because the letters, the words on the page may not line up exactly. So I try to make sure that I'm lining it up with this. Again, if you have any questions, please comment below, and I'll come back and check the comments and try to answer them as best as I can. Okay, we've got the A, and let's just shift it over, and let's do the L's. And again, we'll keep this as our guide. And we'll line it up, make sure it's even as best as we can. And we're going to pick an L. And so you have letters, remember, you have more than one of these letters, so you can use this for multiple projects, and they're on both sides of the sheet. And again, we're lining up. And it looks a little slightly off, so you can lift it back up. That looks good. And we're going to do our last one, which is the second L. And we'll just use this as a guide. One more L. One more L for fall. And you can do this for any season. You can do it for Christmas. You can do it for Halloween. That would be a fun one to do. You can do it for Valentine's Day, whatever season that you choose. Yep, that looks good. Okay. And like if you came across a page, just for instance, if you're doing one for Halloween, and some of the chapter numbers, like this one's 31, that would be perfect for Halloween. This one's number 4 if you were doing one for 4th of July. Number 1 would be great for New Year's. Number 25 would be great for Christmas. You get the idea. So now we've got our letters that say fall. So the next thing you would do, and you don't have to do this, I particularly did it. I've created a blank one with also the banner on it on either side, so that I can put an embellishment. But you don't have to do that. You can just use these letters. It just depends on what you want to do. So for instance, I'll show you, I did one that says Noel for Christmas, and then I'll use some blank ones on the other side. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to punch the holes at the top. So this is fairly simple. I just come in just a little ways. You want to give a little bit of room here so that when you run the jute through, that it doesn't tear easy. If you get too close to the edge, then the paper will tend to tear. And so we'll just come in maybe about that much, and about equal amount on either side. And I'm eyeballing it. So we have that here. And what you can do is, again, take this and use it as your template. Place it on top. And we're going to line up that hole. Yeah, shift it just a tad. There we go. And we're going to punch the remaining ones. So I think we'll just go ahead, and it won't take long. And if you have any questions, let me know It's fairly straightforward, but you can also take scrapbook paper and cut out your design if you wanted to actually make your banner using, if you had enough scrapbook paper, you could do that and add the letters to that. Most of the letters are black at the Dollar Tree, but they do have a few that are red that you could do for Christmas would be a nice one. It's a different font style, but you may like it. And again, we're gonna just try to get this lined up as best we can. We did it. Yay, we're done. Okay, so the next thing, we have our banner, basic banner. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to take your roll of jute and you want to go over to your mantle. Everybody's mantle is a different size, okay? So this is the best way. You can use a measuring tool to measure it. You just need to make sure that you leave enough on the end so that you can tie, if you want to make a bow, you can tie a bow to the end, but also put a command hook up on your mantle so you can tie the twine to it to hold your garland up. But you also want to give it some give. So give it some give. That's a new one. But anyway, so that when the banner hangs, it kind of hangs, you know, sort of like a crescent way, because it looks much better when it's done that way. So I'm going to use the back of this. So we're going to pretend that this is a, actually we'll just use this one since it didn't have a number on it. So we're going to use the back of my Noel to give you an example of having the plain, the unlettered sheet. So you want to start with that one first. And we're going to go through here with the jute, and the hole's plenty big enough. And if it unravels a little bit, that's fine. You can trim it off. So all you're going to do, you're going to pre-cut. Once you've measured your mantle from end to end, you're going to cut that. And then we're just going to slowly just kind of pull it through. Here we go. And you don't have to go all the way over, but you can. And then we're going to add, we'll start off with the blank or your letter, whichever way you want to do it. And then you'll come back again to the end. And you're going to place that jute in. I like mine showing, but you can also actually do it the opposite way where it just shows on this part. That's just, it's your personal preference on how you want to do it. And, you know, give it a little bit of space. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can adjust this once it gets up on the mantle. You can move these around so that it's centered on your mantle area. And it doesn't, this is really actually a quick project other than me talking to you. So we're just gonna kind of just, like I say, even, you know, give it a little bit of space. And we're gonna go back. We're gonna grab the next letter. And I hope this is not backwards to you, but if it is, I apologize. I hope not. But if it is, I think you'll get the idea of how it works. Okay, let's get this one on here. I'm gonna go to the last, and it doesn't take very long to string it. You see again, it's unraveling, but we can always trim that. And don't pull it too hard, you know, just pull it enough just to kind of get it through. And again, we're gonna use a blank one on the end because I'm gonna embellish. I want to embellish these, so. And you can also, you know, you can't really see it all that well from the other side, so so you can actually reuse the other side. You don't have to do a whole new page to make your pendants for your banner. That's what these are actually called, are pendants. That's what we made. So here we've made, I'm gonna flip this around, hopefully it's the right side. And here we've made one that says fall. Okay? So what I'm going to show you here is that once that's done, you can hang it up just like that if you want to. But if you want to take it up a notch and just do some fun things, I picked up some of these items from Dollar Tree. And I'm, doing a fall. So they had some pumpkin ones, but if you were doing a Halloween one, you can certainly use these. The only thing with those is that the little sticker, they come with the little stickers on the back, the little white dots. They don't stick very well, not to paper or not to anything. So, pardon me. So, what I do is I just peel it off. And so you can use whichever one you want. If you want to, use one that has the glitter on it, that's really cute. Or for this purpose, we'll just use plain. So what we'll do is take our glue gun, and that's one of the things I forgot to mention. If you're going to do this project where you're going to add on, there we go, add on embellishments, you're going to want a little bit of a glue gun to be able to attach it. Let's move that on up. So what we'll do is, again, we'll use that as our center point. And if you really want to do it, I can eyeball it. But if you really want to get technical, you can come back and use that as your guide. And use that as your ruler, and we'll just press it down. And we'll let that sit for just a second. And you can put another pumpkin on the other side, which is fine. We can go ahead and do that. Let's just shift it over. And we'll do it over here on the other side. We're going to peel that off again, and I'm just going to match it, use the same one. We're going to use our glue gun. It doesn't need much glue, just a little bit. And it's pretty thick wood, so you won't have the tendency to burn yourself. And we'll just kind of eyeball this one too. Let's say right about there. And we're just going to hold it down for a minute. And then we'll kind of just lift this up and show you how it's embellished. I've got the pumpkin and the little fall. And again, you can adjust those pendants once you get it up on the fireplace, up on the mantle rather, above the fireplace. You can adjust those. So I just wanted to show you another cute little item that you can do if you wanted to. If you wanted to take it a little bit further, a little step further, you can paint. These came from Dollar Tree. They were in a package of 5. They were ornaments, kind of like these little owls. And you can paint your leaves any color you want, as I mentioned earlier in the video. But you can take some of ribbon, whichever you like, whatever matches your decor, and you can, let's do this one because it's kind of fun. You can kind of see how it looks. So this is one that I painted on this side, and then I Mod Podge scrapbook on there, scrapbook paper. And so you can kind of get a feel for it. And if you have a hard time getting that through, take that fancy tool I told you, that toothpick, and you just kind of punch it. See? Punch it, and it pulls it right through. If you've done some scrapbook paper. Now, normally I wouldn't use a buffalo check on top of a buffalo check, but I just wanted you to kind of see how it looks. I would use a different pattern to blend in. You could do it, or you could use a different color of buffalo check ribbon, like this orange one would be cute to go on here, and use the orange instead. And that kind of would blend in with the with the pumpkins, but for this purpose, I'm just gonna do it this way. So then what you could do is just give it a little bit of room, and we're gonna go through, and we're just gonna tie this right here, give it a good tie. And we won't do all of them. I just want you to kind of get a feel for how it's going to look. So see, you can tie those in between. You can have it where it's just a buffalo check on the other side. If you would have tied it the opposite way, you can kind of see how that looks. There you go. You can use any type of thing. This one's cute. It has the hole, so it's already made for you. You can stain these if you want, or just use them natural. This is a cute idea. You can actually use the leaf itself on this part here. If you wanted to do a leaf and then not do anything in between, or do it, you can actually just tie these to jute with the twine above it. That would be a great way. This is another super cute one to do. And where I've just taken some wax, water-based wax that I used, antiquing wax, and I've stained this cute little owl. And you can hang the owls in between here, or you know what I mean. There's just all kinds of different patterns. Or you can do that, and I've got some little wooden buttons that we could place on the owl and glue them. As you can see here, he's so cute. And glue them. You can use multicolored buttons, whichever. Take and tie some, what I would do is actually tie a little, before I placed it on the paper itself, I would go ahead and let's do one. Let's see how it looks. Kind of just trim it off here just a tad bit. Let's do, I'm just measuring to see how long it would be. Let's get it a little bit shorter. Okay. So then we can just take this and come through here again. And if you're having trouble, hold it right there over that hole and take our fancy toothpick tool, because it works great to get that in there. Sure y'all have done that before. And I would just tie it. You could take raffia and put raffia on it too. That would be adorable. You could do a little bit of raffia, whichever, whatever you like. And then you could do it this way. There's so many different little ideas. I don't know what happened to it. There's my little other eye. You can use different colored buttons. And you can just take a little orange paint and just paint a little triangle down there for the nose for the owl, which would be so cute to do. So then you have, I'll just show you, so you have a cute little owl, and you can hang it in between if you want to do it that way, or put it here. Anyway, I'm just showing you some options of what you can do to create a fun, inexpensive banner for fall. And I wouldn't say, but even adding the embellishments, that this thing was maybe $2 at the most to make. Just because you're just using small amounts of supplies. So on the gathered one, I plan on adding some pumpkins as well. I might go back and actually do some more buffalo check scrapbook paper onto these. And that's very simple to do. All you need is a paintbrush. I'll just show you just quickly. So all you need is some Mod Podge. Take your paintbrush, paint Mod Podge all over it. Once you've cut out your design, once you've cut out your scrapbook paper, then you would lay it on here. Mod Podge it again, let it dry. And once it's dry, you can go back over on any overages, and take a little sanding pad or a sanding square, whichever you have, and sand off the edges. And that's kind of a neat little thing to do. Anyway, I'm going to lift you back up. I just wanted to, that was fun. I love making these little banners. Again, you don't have to use the pages out of the book. You can use, if you get enough, you know, a lot of times Hobby Lobby has scrapbook paper for 25 cents per sheet. So I would think if you're going to, let's just for purposes of fun, let's just see. So this is not a full square because I used some of it, but so we could go across one. You could get at least two out of I would say a whole sheet, 2 pennants out of a whole sheet, just depending on how you lay it out. Yeah, I still think you're only, even if we had that extra piece, you're only going to get 2 out of the scrapbook paper. So so just keep that in mind when you go to buy your scrapbook paper, to that you're probably only going to get 2 pennants out of it if you plan on using all of that for your pennants. I'm trying to say that clearly. And depending on the word that you're going to use. So that's kind of a little helpful little tip, I guess. And it would be adorable using this, because it's, you know, easy to do. You just measure and cut, and that's that simple. So I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about this project, or if you have any suggestions for future projects, I'd be happy to hear them. If you have any questions on any of my tools that I've used, or any of the products where I found them, please comment below. I'll come back and check my comments. I'd also love to know if you have tried this project, so please do come back and visit and let me know. You can go to my Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/sweet, Makery, Sweet Tea Makery. That's a whole lot. I'll just put the link somewhere so that you can see it. But you can come back there and post your pictures there. I'll probably share this video over on my Facebook page as well. But don't forget to subscribe by hitting the red button, and also clicking on that bell so you're notified when I go live or when I upload a new fun project for us to do. I do appreciate your joining me today, and I hope that you have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again soon, and happy crafting. Bye.